Hi guys. So I made a collage, and this collage is inspired by an artist. A random video showed up in my feed. Her name is Anna Carll, Carl with 2 L's. She does, her work is freaking fantastic. And I am light years behind her, but she's my new mentor. So I created this collage, and it's too big to show in its entirety, but it features my own abstract digital art, which has been buried in files on my computer for a very, very long time and is finally starting to see the light of day. It's not finished, and it won't be in this video, but it's finished enough for you to be able to take the journey with me. However, disclaimer, it's a partial journey because I'm still an amateur, so I did not record certain parts of it, a fair amount of it, but there's enough here that I can share the concept with you and maybe inspire you to tear up some papers and glue them down. So join me over here. See ya. I have an idea. I've been working in my sketchbook, but now I want to work on this canvas. And actually what I want is the canvas to be vertical. But I'm going to start it horizontally so I don't have to go through camera setup, because actually I don't really want to record this, but I want to record this. I guess what I want is I just want to focus on what I'm working on, because I'm 100% in over my head, and so I need to focus. One of the things that I have here is a very large pile of my original, these are all my digital art collages. I have probably as many as 1,000 of them. I would like to collage with those. And quickly I'm going to show you an artist that I just found on YouTube. Let me try to get this up higher. Her name is Anna Carll, and she is 100 light years ahead of where I am. But she's doing collage combined with painting. I can see what she's done. I have no way of knowing how to do it. But this particular one, I've pulled out pink, I've got black and white, I've got some unbleached titanium, a little bit of parchment, and some white. And what I want to do is put a background down on this thing and play around with collaging with pieces based on what I have on the pile next to me. So I'm going to go quiet because I don't know how to do this, and that's the only way I can figure out how to get started. I've pulled out some tools. I'm going to show you. Oh, this really does keep it wet for very long. I've got this very inexpensive Stay Wet style palette that I bought at the dollar store. It was the only one they had. I'm going to get out this paint that's been in here for a long time. Put some new sheets in. I've also got this, which will give me a straight edge if I decide I want one. And here we go. All right, I can't believe it. I'm such an amateur. I did not record any of that stuff. So let me just jump in and tell you what I've been up to. I painted the whole background pink for no good reason other than to get started. And I have started tearing up collages that I've made. All of these different colored collages. And I've glued them down. You could see exactly one piece get glued down, and the rest of them, I had the camera off instead of on. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to give this a flip. And I would like to go a little bit lighter and less contrasty up there in that corner. I don't know what I'm going to do it with yet. Sorry, guys. Scissors. One of the things that's kind of cool about these papers that I'm using is because I mentioned it in other videos, but I'll mention it again. All of these were designed on an online platform using square and rectangular images. So I've got all these built-in lines that show me where to cut them. I guess what I'm basically just trying to do is cover up this background. And then I'll start layering things over it. Now this is not so different than my collage work that I normally do. I guess what's different about this is that these papers are already colored. And for that reason, they're almost a little bit easier to work with because I don't have to worry about, just look for things that has the colors that I like. Don't know what's gonna come of these, but I'm enjoying these. Boy, I've got a lot of, see, I don't know if this is paint or It's not really glue, it's probably paint. But it's really, I don't want to put too much unifying paint color over it because I don't want it to get rid of the character. All right. I think what I'm enjoying about this is that I don't seem to have to think a real lot because there's just these little slices laying around and I can just glue them down. I hope that this is showing. I'll be disappointed if it's not. Okay. I'll let this dry for a minute. Okay, so I would like to, I don't want to turn this thing sideways, but you can see the whole entire thing on it sideways. This was a very fun project, but I'll tell you what I've done. I've hit the wall on what I know how to do with it. So this is the top of it and all the way to the bottom of it. So not all of it's going to show on this video. But let me tell you what I'm really enjoying about this. I wish you could see the whole thing. Let me turn it sideways and you guys just twist your heads funny, okay? So this, I believe this is the top and this is the bottom. I could change that. What I want to do next is to paint out some, I want to simplify some areas, but I don't know how to. I am really inspired by the artist. I don't know where I put those pieces of paper right now. Her name is Anna Carll, A-N-N-A-C-A-R-L-L. Okay, there you go. And she has a very sophisticated way of designing that doesn't feel like a huge departure from what I'm already doing. This feels like a refinement direction where I don't know. What I want to do is I want to paint out some of this area, and I actually went, I have to show you this before I go. I went to Home Depot and I bought, oh damn, here, okay. I bought one of these. It's Bear. Guess what, guys? Bear paint is, can you see it? It is 100% acrylic. I learned this from Anna Carll. She says she does a lot of house paint and she likes it because she gets a matte finish. Let me show you before I go. So what I was looking for is something that would work with some of these warmer tones. So I bought this color that's called Coral Cloud, and I ordered it not in the mattest finish, but the next finish next, which is, I don't know what they call it. But this is what it looks like out of the jar, kind of like this, kind of like this out of the jar. And then I started playing around with mixing it with white and also mixing it with black. And you get some really interesting colors. The point I'm trying to make is that I would like to really, really lighten this down to almost a wash and paint out some of this more expressive stuff. But look at how much fun this thing is with all new, you've seen my work, or if you haven't seen my work has a tendency to be one contrast. Like if you looked at it in gray, it would look like a solid color. One contrast and fairly monochromatic. I don't know how to mix up my colors. But apparently I did know how to do that while I was working digitally because it's easy. You just keep shopping until you find a color that you like. So this particular direction has my attention. I actually have a big pile of papers over there and I'm getting ready to make another one of these. So I apologize for how incomplete this video was. It's collaging, so you're really just cutting stuff out and gluing it down. And I made mostly quick, intuitive decisions without a lot of thinking. Yes, I like this as the top. Just trying to get it on here as much as possible. That's as much as I can show in the right orientation. But I do definitely want to quiet this down. Anyways, I'm talking too much. I just want to say goodbye. I want to thank you for watching this really incomplete video, but I had a lot of fun doing this and I'm going to make another one. And I'll try to be a little bit more professional about it and, get the whole thing recorded so you can watch. And I'm still making collage, but I'm going to play around with paint, which, by the way, I put in one of these things, and I didn't even have to, listen, can you hear that? It's liquid. It's going to pour out on the jelly plate. Perfect. And I didn't even tell you this, $7. $7 for almost 16 ounces of paint, which you would pay a lot more for if you were buying it at the art store. I want to show you guys something. All right, so this is the piece that I just finished making, and I've been staring at it for days. So this piece was inspired by this artist, and the only thing that even remotely looks the same is that these are clearly grid style pieces, and actually not very much of this is, but so they're both collages, let's put it that way. They're both collages that have a lot of information on it. But what she has, I'll just make that, oh, I can't, it's not really a medium smallness that I can make this. She's got these large areas that she has painted out and collaged over. These large, plain, simple areas. that she has collaged over. You know, this possibly because this is more structured and grid-like, maybe you could say that mine is similar to that, but look at the craziness on my sheet, on my, you know, my video here. Look at the craziness on that, and look at the quietness on this. Look at how she's got this enormous amount of similar colors, and then just enough different, you know, to change it up, but of a kind of a similar value, you know, the amount of darkness and lightness, punctuated by these large sections that are quite, this is fascinating for me, because what I'm interested in is, you know, as an artist, and I've had a couple of people ask, why, you know, why does it matter? Why not just have it be fun? And that is a valid question. Why not have it just be fun? There's a different kind of fun that I experience for myself when I start trying to develop. It's probably tied to my, look at these yummy frickin' things, are you kidding me? It's probably tied to my perfectionism, but it's also tied to my incredible desire to create. But I want something that I can run with. One of the words she used in one of her videos was to create a series. She encouraged new artists to, or artists to, look at the beautiful gray. Look at all this, how this gray sets that all off, and almost looks like, you know, metal or something like that. So this kind of collage, which is very abstract and does not have a lot of visible things in it. Like, as an example, I think this might be part of her, it was something to do with nautical. So it's very stylized. Imagine this being a boat and that being a sailboat mast, and, you know, maybe they're all stacked up, these very vertical elements, she calls them, you know, like masts. So there's symbolism buried in it, but it's not noticeable like my bird collage that I did. You know, you can tell what they are. So I just wanted to introduce you guys to this artist, because her work is, I think it's absolutely stunning, and I think she's going to be my new teacher. So this is interesting because when I looked at this, it sort of made me think about the vases I've been making in my most recent things. Now, I don't have the courage to paint this out right now, and this is also, even if I was wanting to take this concept of this vase-like thing and paint it out on here, it's too much craziness there. It would be a bad idea. This needs to be, my whole entire piece needs to quiet the hell down. Like all this, it's got to quiet down. But what I think I can learn from this, and possibly you can as well, is that this is an artist who has developed a very specific way of working. She works large, and the only way that you could have this much detail in your pieces is to work large, because otherwise you'd be cutting up pieces of paper 1/4 of an inch. She's got a beautiful developed sense of color that really appeals to me, and I am going to study this she's not a girl, she's a woman like me. I'm going to study this woman's work like we do the great masters of the world, Van Gogh and Matisse and all of the other great masters. We study what they do and try to understand. But look, you know, look at this grid, look at this neurographic thing that's happening here in a much subtler way, but look at that. Now this is way, way more sophisticated than these little squares I'm putting here, but I want to learn from this gal. So I just wanted to let you know that I pulled this video down so that I could add this to it, since the original video was only 20 minutes long, and I wanted to show you guys oh my God, that's beautiful. What has my attention right now? But I can tell you, just let's look at this one right now. This, I need to jelly print. These are my, on the left hand side, these are my digital collages that I made many years ago, and they're beautiful. And I'm not saying no to them, but I don't have nearly enough really textured, simple, tone on tone stuff in a colorway that I can relate to. So I can see that I've got a new direction coming. I hope you guys would like to hang out with me. This is Anna, some publications that she's been in. And this is her in her studio, and you can see the scale with which she works. It's quite large, and you can't see it, but she's got gallons of paint. The brand says Royal on the front of it. We get Bear at Home Depot. Sherwin Williams has acrylic paint, and one other brand that I can't recall. So I just want to show you this, and thank you for hanging out with me again. And I'm gonna share this new direction with you guys as I figure it out. So thank you. See ya. Bye.